Good afternoon, good morning, everybody, depending on where you are in the country. I am super, super excited for this Wednesday. We've got our Winners Wednesday and one of the most awesome guests that I can possibly imagine. We've got Mr. William Mahan joining us today. Good morning, William.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, my pleasure. So, William, for those that, aren't familiar with you yet, I'd love for you just to tell a little bit about your story. But first, I want to give a proper introduction. William has been a top producer. He lives in the Oklahoma City market, which is my hometown, but he's been a top producer. And previously with Keller Williams, I think Century 21 at one point, and was number 16 at one point with Keller Williams. Now he's joined EXP Realty, and he's been a three-time icon, which we'll get into later what that means, and then also building a national organization. So highly successful. I know you're an investor as well, top producer, and I certainly want to thank you for joining me this morning.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
William,
Glad to be here.
thank you. So just tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you been in real estate? What got you into real estate initially?
Yeah, so I've been in real estate since January, or I'm sorry, 2014. January 2014, I got into real estate, and honestly, I was in a position to where I needed a change. I needed some more flexibility. I had young kids, and I wanted to spend more time with them, and the current career I was in just didn't allow me to do that. I had a dinner with a good friend that's in real estate, and he just highly encouraged me to take the jump and leap of faith and dive into real estate. He was in real estate. He was part of a team, and he just said, come be a part of this team. I know you'll be successful in it, and I, I got your back, kind of thing. So I just took a leap of faith and jumped in it.
That's great. So, and since you kind of progressed, you started on a team, is that correct?
Yep.
And then over time, you developed your own production team. What was that evolution?
Yeah, so I started out with Century 21, and I was a buyer's agent for a large successful team here in the Oklahoma City metro area, and really got my feet wet in real estate. Started learning the contracts and the terms and how everything worked, and really excelled, and really kind of grew out of that role. And I really wanted to, be my own agent, and so I left Century 21, and I went to Keller Williams, and I became a solo agent. I dove into, just the foundations that Keller Williams teaches, and jumped into the Red Book, the Gary Keller MREA book, and really wanted to build a 7-level team. And so that's what I started doing. I worked hard and started slowly growing a team. So I ran a team with Keller Williams for 2 years. I had a few admin, marketing specialists, buyers agents, and really was, growing that model of that 7-level team. Um,
Absolutely. And I'm sure I just wanted to kind of highlight one thing here. I'm sure there's agents who are wanting to take that next step and develop a team. What would you attribute your success, in developing a team? What were some of the special things that you focused on to make it successful?
really just growing myself as a leader, diving into coaching, the books, just everything that I could do to help myself be a leader, and grow me. Because if I couldn't grow me and I couldn't be a leader, then I couldn't lead a team and others. So really, it was just that growth of myself, and really diving into how to do it the right way. You know, had a lot of different peers that were growing teams that I could lean on and kind of follow. And I followed some, and I learned how not to do it from others. So it was a combination of both. The people that are doing it the right way, and the people that might have been doing it the wrong way, or the way that didn't fit me. And so I just gathered a little bit from everyone and created my own system and my own brand and how I wanted to what my team, what I wanted my team to look like and how I wanted to operate. And it was successful.
Awesome.
I ran a successful team. And at that time, growing a team was fun because it was new, right? It's like, when you get a new car or a new toy, it's so exciting and so I was having fun. I was excited. And over time, that new toy or that new car kind of starts getting a little stagnant and old, and so sometimes you got to learn new toys or something else that excites you. So that was kind of what the evolution of what happened to me. It was new. I was having fun. I was excited. Then all of a sudden it started becoming stagnant.
Gotcha. And I'd like to kind of piggyback off of that a little bit. Or what are some of the challenges, as you talked about, it's always been that natural evolution that you become a top producer, then you leverage and you start a team. But for people that are maybe starting a team right now or looking to start a team, what are some of the challenges in running a production team?
Yeah. So as the rainmaker, the leader of the team, they say the rainmaker, really, it's your responsibility to make sure that that team has what they need to be successful, right? So whether that's the admin staff, you've got to have all the systems in place for that. That comes with salaries as well, and so you've got to budget and make sure that you have 6 months, 12 months, even after 12 months built into your budget to be able to sustain that admin. The agents, the reason that buyers, agents become buyers agents is because there's lead flow, right? And so they work those leads. And so as a rainmaker, you've got to be able to produce those leads on a consistent basis. And so that takes a marketing budget. That takes a system, that takes some type of platform, CRM database to be able to plug everyone in. The database has to be large, or CRM has to be large enough to plug everyone into that CRM to make sure it's running efficiently and effectively. And so putting all that together, it costs a lot of money. I mean, you've got to have a good amount of budget built into marketing and salaries. And so you've got to, being a solo agent wanting to go and transition, you've got to have about a year's worth of budget to start growing the team effectively. Because guess what happens? You're a solo agent, you get 100% of the commissions, or whatever you make, you keep. Well, when you start having buyer's agents and you're sharing leads, it comes out a split. And so now you're sharing that split with another agent for them to be able to go work these leads. And so you're not getting that full commission anymore. And so you either A, have to stay in production, or B, produce enough leads and training to support these agents to be able to go sell at a high level and produce at a high level.
That's great. No, that's great feedback. And I think that's going to really help many agents that are looking to start a team or maybe already in a team and they might be in a little bit of a rut. So now let's talk about kind of that next evolution that you've done over the last few years of going from a production team to really creating a large expansion organization all over the United States. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So I'll give you a really snippet on how and what got me here. Was in 2017. Our biggest year. We were growing, and with that became a lot of stress, a lot of time consuming into my business, away from my family, and honestly, I hit a wall. I got to a place where I was exhausted. I was tired, mentally, physically, and I just really didn't know if I could continue, how long I could continue to do that system that I was running with that team. And so then in 2017, I was really searching for, a way to transition to more of an exit strategy in my business. And I was really searching and trying to find that avenue with the current team set up at Keller Williams I had. And so at that time, that's pretty much when you really fully kind of walked into my life and presented an opportunity that allowed me to have an exit strategy and to grow and to do real estate and still real estate doesn't still grow, but in a different way. And at that time, it was exactly what I was looking for. And so the end of 2017, beginning of 2018, I made the transition over to EXP. And it, with the business model that EXP has, it really allowed me to start transitioning my business in a different direction, in terms of everything that I knew in terms of being a buyer's agent, being a solo agent, creating and building a team, having those systems, it allowed me to start taking that and pouring into other agents and showing them that system, showing them how to, generate leads and how to grow a business and how to, work on your business and not in your business. And when I started doing that, I started having a lot of fun. I started having a lot of fun doing that. And so it really took my business on a whole different path. And so, and I'm still on that path and fun doing it.
I love it. And you keep, talking about fun. And we even have a quote, EXP's making real estate fun again. But I know it was, being a top producer from Keller Williams, which is a great company, and then making a shift to, a completely different model and really changing your entire business model. I mean, everything that you were on track to do. What were some of the challenges and kind of the mindset shift that you had to do personally to make those changes?
Yeah, I think initially when speaking to you helped me really shift my mindset with knowing where I was at and showing me just that piece of the model that would allow me to go in a different direction and help kind of those pain points I had. That mind shift was really on, okay, it's not about, it was always about me, 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 me. And now how can I, mind shift wise, how can I still, have some type of production, have some type of success, but also start helping others have success. And that really turned into, my why. So I think mind shift wise, it was once I started seeing those agents that were part of my group have success, and my agents, were hitting icon and they were capping and they were getting 100% of their commissions. And once I saw that success and I was a part of it and I was on that journey with them, that really kind of hit home with me, and it really helped my mindset of, okay, this is the direction that I want. This is what fulfills me. I like this, right? And also the time freedom. It allowed me to start spending more time with my kids and, attending a lot of the things that I wasn't attending. Again, helped my mind shift to that direction as well. So I think it was a number of things, but it was really just seeing the success of my agents that really helped me continue down that path.
No, that's a great point. And one of the things I think we challenge is in real estate, we can get financial freedom, right? There's ways to get financial freedom, there's ways to be incredibly successful. But in order to get more of the financial aspect, you've got to do what? You've got to sell more homes,
Mm-hmm.
which takes less time away from your family. So it's always been kind of that balancing act. And unfortunately, it's been a challenge in the old fashioned real estate model for a long time. And one of the things that I know that we've talked about that's been really important to you is not only the financial freedom, but the time freedom and location freedom, right? As you mentioned, spending more times with your family, your friends, people that you care about. So tell us now a little bit more in depth, what does the average day of William look like? And you're still in production, you're still running teams, you're still a high producer, but you're also giving back and helping other agents grow. What does that look like?
Yeah. So typical day for me is, in the morning, now that I'm able to spend a lot more time with the kids and the family, and really help, my wife in the mornings and afternoon, drop offs and pickups. I'm just engaged with them, in their morning, getting them going, enjoying that little bit of time we have before them, before they have to go off. And so I dive into that and get them off and running, spend time with them. And then at that point, it's my next section is responding to a lot of texts and emails that I'm getting from agents, which are encouraged, right? Like I'm encouraging them, reach out to me, let me know how I can help. And so I take a little bit of time to make sure that they get the proper responses and I'm responding to them in a timely manner. And we're lining that out. And then the later half of the morning is Zoom trainings. We have 3 a week, and each day is a different topic, whether it's sales trainings on Mondays, Wednesdays are growth and development and mindsets. And then we have, Friday calls with you. And so preparing for those and then really just diving in, to those calls and just pointing those aids. And then, in the afternoon, I do save time for any personal appointments that I have, whether it's, listing appointments, buyer showings. And then the last half of the afternoon is really just diving back into my kids and my family in those events. My kids are active in sports, and I coach my daughter's softball team. And so we're doing that in the afternoons and just, diving back into them, in the afternoon. So coach, mentor, teach, train, run a little bit of appointments on my own, and then diving back into my kids.
Oh, I
It's
love
fun.
that. And I love seeing, you post your kids' stuff on Facebook. I know that you're a super, super involved
Yeah.
husband and dad, which I think is really incredibly important. So I like the full circle. It started out with family and you end the day with family as
Yeah.
well. So, and when we talk about agents that you're working with, for people that aren't familiar with the EXP model, I mean, we're talking about you're working with agents from all over the United States,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Not just in your local market.
Correct.
So
Correct.
what does that look
Yeah.
like? How are you structuring from kind of the old-fashioned team to the modern team?
Yeah. So, when I first came to EXP, I brought my entire team. They're still buyer's agents, and quickly I just moved them into solo agents, just because as a solo agent, they can maximize everything that EXP has to offer and the benefits and everything. So I moved them to solo agents, and they were really nervous. You can talk to them now, and they can tell you, when he let us go on our own, we were super scared and nervous. But they knew the systems, they knew how to operate, and what the great thing was with EXP allowed me, with the revenue share model, allowed me to still operate as a team. So even though they were solo agents, I still supported them. A small group still supported them. We still did lead share. They still, had some admin staff on my end that they were able to use, and just plugged into that. And then all of a sudden, we started growing solo agents, attracting solo agents and bringing them into the system and teaching them the system and the processes. And it really started. I was running a team of solo agents, and it was the same thing. And as I was doing before, but it allowed me to grow bigger and faster. And then all of a sudden, we started getting interest from other states, and we started bringing agents on from other states in the group, in the team, and showing them that system, and helping them generate leads, and still having that that collaboration and the team environment. And that's really what we do now. And so they plug into that, and they get to experience just that, this, 90 or so agents working together and collaborating, and we still operate like a team, but everyone is their own boss, they run their own businesses, they're solo agents. But we just kind of create that team like culture, and it's fun.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love it. And I know that some of your agents that went solo, they've hit Icon now.
Yeah.
So now you've given them the same opportunity that you have. So we briefly mentioned at the very beginning of this that three-time Icon with EXP. What does that mean, and how does that compare to maybe the other real estate companies that you've been a part of?
Yeah, so Icon is it's huge. I didn't understand really fully exactly how huge it would be and how big it would be financially for me, until I started doing it. But basically, Icon is, we once you hit your cap with EXP is 16,000, and so once you pay in that 16,000, you become 100% agent,
Hmm.
100% commissioned agent. If you do an additional 20 transactions, you are an Icon agent. You get an Icon award, and that means that 16,000 goes back as an award back into your stock account. You've got to do a few things, with EXP, and in order to get some of that money. But once you hit all of those criteria, you get that $16,000 back as a stock award, and it grows and it compounds and grows
And compounds.
and compounds. And so, um, I after 3 years of hitting Icon, and that 16,000 going back into my stock account and compounding, it's probably tripled or quadrupled, actually probably more than that. Just that money going in there on that compound effect. Just those awards, just that award alone has probably 4 or 5 times overgrown, compound wise. And it's I don't there's no other model or company or out there that can provide that could have provided that to me.
Right.
And so it's amazing that I can open my stock account and just see it grow just off of the icon awards that I got, and a few other milestones that you hit with EXP. They give you awards, and it's like, wow, I didn't really physically put money in here. I did, work and produce and hit the criteria that EXP lays out for you to get these awards. And so I worked hard to do those. It's like, man, I go out and I work hard, and they benefit me for it.
It's amazing. And just quick disclaimer here, stock is going to go up and down, right? That's the nature of stock. But the other real estate companies, and again, no disrespect to these other companies, they're all great companies that you've been associated with.
Oh, yeah.
But many of you as top producers, you'll get a plaque. Here you're actually getting a stock award, right? It's not just a plaque that you're going to hang on the wall right behind you. It's something that could potentially create generational wealth. So that's amazing. So what are some of the future goals for you? I mean, obviously you're expanding, you're helping other agents, you're training other agents to be successful just like you have been. What are some of your goals?
To continue down that path. I set my compass on south, and I'm just going to continue head south. Every morning, if I wake up in the morning and my compass is still heading south, I know I'm in the right direction. So I'm just continue to grow, help agents grow, help other agents icon, and really financial freedom is something that any agent can do with any company, right? You go sell 200 homes a year, you're going to have a good income, so the financial freedom, but it's really the time freedom for me. It's really the flexibility to be able to still continue to grow agents, but also have the flexibility to do it on my time, where I want, when I want. And so that's really big for me. That's really big for me. And I think it's really big for me because my previous situation, the previous company, that wasn't like, I couldn't see that. Like, I couldn't see that time freedom. I couldn't leave. I felt bad for my family because, when I was running a large team, I would go on vacation and then I would fly back the next day,
Wow.
because, I just couldn't leave. And so I think that's the biggest thing for me is, just, pretty for me, and have that flexibility. My kids are only going to be young in my house, for a certain minute, certain amount of time. And I want to maximize that time and be able to, provide that lifestyle for them. And so, in order for me to do that, I've got to stay on the path that I'm on now, which is growing agents, continuing to help them be successful, and keep expanding. You're right. Just keep expanding, not just my local area, but, and in other. To have the flexibility, like to be able to do that.
Well, hey, you might be our neighbor someday, right?
Yeah, there you go. Absolutely.
So what advice, just to kind of wrap this up, what advice do you have for agents or maybe team leaders or even brokers, right? On, that have kind of been stuck in that rut of transaction. It's a transaction treadmill, right? And I know you keep talking about financial freedom and time freedom and location freedom, but where do they get started? What is the number one piece of advice that you have? Because you had explored EXP for years until you looked at it. So what was that switch that made you eventually look at it? And what advice do you have for agents to do the same?
Yeah, so EXP has a great model, and there's four pillars to our model. And a lot of agents will look at one or two of those pillars and say, you know what, I'm good over here. That really doesn't excite me. And so, what I encourage is to look at each pillar individually, look at each piece that we have individually, see if peaceful. The reason I came over was just because of one of the pillars really excited me. If I would have looked at, the 80-20 split with the $16,000 cap, I was kind of getting that. So I don't know that would have really made the jump. There was an agent-owned stock, that you talked to me about. I didn't know enough about stocks at that time. I really didn't know how it worked. And so I don't know if that would have. But when you showed me the revenue share model and the exit strategy, now that got my attention, and that got me to a point where, okay, I need to jump in this. So if you're an agent and you don't have 100% commission option, or like you have a lower split, or if you're an agent that you're a financial person, you're a numbers person, and you really like the stocks and how it grows in the wards, I would just encourage you to look at each model or each pillar individually and just see if one of those pillars can really change your business or change your life.
That's fantastic. And I think you hit the nail on the head. What sometimes even for those of us that have been in a while, why we initially joined changes over time and we become more interested in maybe one of the other pillars. So
Mm-hmm.
everybody joins for a different reason, but I truly believe that we can be a solution to almost nearly any real estate problem. So that's
Absolutely.
awesome. Well, William, I'm sure there's people that are watching this either now or in the future that would love to be in touch with you, maybe look at, partnering with you. What's the best way to reach out to you?
Honestly, Facebook, just send me a message on Messenger, and I'll definitely connect with you. That's probably the easiest way. Facebook Messenger or Instagram. You can find me on there. But yeah, just look me on Facebook, send me a message, and I'll definitely connect with you and see if one of these pillars fits your pain points. Everyone has pain points.
Everybody does, right? Once we put our ego to the side, we realize that, we all do. So that's
Just look at it,
awesome.
right? Because a lot of people, that ego is not your amigo. We love that saying,
Yeah.
right? And a lot of people use that. They just say, I'm not even going to look at it because of X, Y, and Z. And I was like that, for a few years. And so I just encourage you, it doesn't hurt just to look, right? Just to take a peek at it and just entertain if there's something in there that would really help you in your business and your goals. Because I guarantee you there is. One of them will fit that model or that mold that you're looking for or that pain point you have for sure.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Anything else that you want to add to it that maybe I didn't ask that you'd like to highlight before we wrap up here?
No, just I never thought my vision or 5-10 years in my business when I was looking at it in 2016-17 that I would be in this position. I didn't really see an end or an exit strategy, and now I do. And it's real, right? It's real. Like it's not a unicorn like some people say, or it's not fake. It's sustainable. It's real, and it's fun now. It really, really is fun. Even if I was still producing and not really growing, growing my agent, there's still so many other things that I would, enjoy, like the icon and things like that, so it's fun now. It's fun and it's exciting and it's real. And this company is growing at rapid speed. And I'm glad to be a part of it. I'm glad to be on this journey and this ride with everyone.
Well, thank you so much, William. I can tell from your face how much fun you're having
Yeah.
and that it's genuine, right? Like you said, that it's real, it's genuine. We're here to help agents. I'll kind of end with this. I had a call with an agent yesterday, and it's like, well, I talked to you 4 years ago, and you're obviously still, out calling agents. Does that mean that, it's not doing as well, that you got to keep going? I said, no, listen, at some point it no longer becomes about me, right? You hit the threshold of financial freedom. Glenn Sanford, our founder, always likes to talk about purpose over profit. Now we have seen that the model has proven itself. The success stories are there, right? They're all over the place. Now
Mhm.
we want to help other agents do the same. So I just want to kind of end with this. If myself or William or one of our other agents reaches out to you, just take a look. It's no obligation, but we're genuinely trying to help you because we know what the power of this model can do. And all we're trying to do is help other agents do the same. And honestly, we look at it as we would be selfish if we didn't reach out and share this opportunity, this gift with agents that we genuinely care about. So, William, thank you so much. I appreciate you for joining me today. I know that you're super busy and you are just a rock star, and we always appreciate you. So thank you again for joining us this morning.
I appreciate you, Micah. Thanks for having me on. That was fun. So we'll talk to you guys later.
Thank you.
All right.